cannot put it into a bottle, and you can't buy it on your own. It's only here on this station can you get 4 old guys just jawing. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to introduce your host and MC, Mr. Mark Sweetman.
Let the music play. All right. Hey, I did that while being on camera. That's a first. All right, let's bring Andy back out here. There we go. All right.
Oh, hey. How's it going, man? What's happening?
And here's my bride. Tonight we're in the same room.
There you are. Yeah, it's like, you know, as people get older, it's sort of like, watching watching siblings date. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah, we do look alike.
No, we don't look anything alike.
We look alike.
We look nothing alike.
We look a lot alike.
Absolutely nothing.
We look a lot alike. Oh,
I don't know.
I thought you were talking about me and Andy. I'm sorry.
No. Sorry. Yeah.
Although, when I posted the obituary for my brother, everybody was mentioning how much he looks like me or how much we look alike and everything.
Yeah.
I look at that picture and all I see are my 4 grandparents. I can see all 4 of them in that picture. More than my mom and dad even.
Yeah. So anyway.
Anyway, oh, you want me to stop talking about that? Is that what the anyway means? All right. So how was your week? We always talk about Andy and his adventures.
Oh, is this the usual craziness?
Hey, man, might I mention that you look pretty svelte there on stage last night. So whatever you're doing with this weight program seems to be going well. I hope it doesn't screw up your Santa gig.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I'm kind of hoping it does. I'm gonna get so skinny they can't hire me. That would be the thing.
That's right. We want our Santas to live past 80. So
that's right. Muscle bound.
The department stores want their Santas to keel over at 60. So
maybe it wouldn't be so bad if they got rid of pet night.
Yeah. I think subconsciously that's what this is all about. I don't want to do pet night anymore. It's like off my arm. Okay.
Oh my God.
Leave my leg alone, for crying out loud. Can somebody get the dog off the leg, please? All right.
I have not seen Bad Santa. Did you see Bad Santa?
Yeah, the one with
Billy Bob
Thornton. Yeah, I've seen both ones.
Was that about a department store Santa, right? Now did they have pet night in that film?
I don't think there is, actually. I think somebody did bring a pet to the set and then just kind of kicked it or something like that. But it was
I think
his intoxication and his whole outfit and uniform would never pass inspection with our company.
All right.
I
think
but,
Jason
the sentiment, though, the mental sentiment, I can identify with. So
I gotta catch that film. I've never seen it. I've started it a couple of times.
Is it Sudeikis that talks about being an elf helper for Santa?
David Sedaris. Yeah, he did 3 years as a Macy's elf.
You're thinking of David Sedaris.
David Sedaris, that's who it is. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, he did. They actually did a play of it. You can actually see a play of it.
That's what I'm thinking of.
He did it was it's really good. I try to get my coworkers to actually listen to it, but not one of them.
Okay. That's might hit too close to home.
I think so. Yeah.
That's why you have the Unclub right in your neighborhood, Andy. So you can come with the people that are simpatico.
Thank you. Yes, we understand the David Sedaris theme. There we go.
It's so funny.
We had 3 good newbies last night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Those are great guys.
Yeah, that one guy's a truck driver though. He's worked all over the place because he goes to open mics wherever he's driving.
Oh, there. So he's the guy at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jace Jenkins, I think his name was, something like that. Anyway, and we had a guy 2 or 3 weeks ago. We had a guy who was a sound man for one of the bands that was touring through town that came by and did a set.
Yeah.
So we get all these traveling comics. They want to be comics, but they're in showbiz, but they're driving trucks.
Well, yeah. Hey,
they
I'm
like
showbiz.
to eat.
Yeah, they like to eat. They like to pay their heating bills.
Yeah, they
like to pay the mortgage.
Yeah, they like to actually have dates once in a while. Something like that. That's always good.
Yeah, there's that. All right. So glad to hear everything is well with you.
Yep.
You look good. You feel
Thanks.
good. We're gonna get to Susan now because it's time for Susan's poem. So.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll get everyone back out here. So let's go here.
All right. So my poem tonight. Not a childless cat lady, but he's a document hoarder. Trump is just plain weird, says Kamala supporter.
Your face is blocked.
How about I start over?
Yeah,
Well, you ruined the
piece.
the phrasing. I'll start over.
I read it.
We can fix it in editing.
Yeah, we'll fix it. We'll fix it in post.
Yeah, we'll fix it.
All right, here we go. Not a childless cat lady, but he's a document hoarder. Trump is just plain weird, says Kamala supporter. Russian-Ukraine war is still herky-jerky. A threat to invade Israel was declared by Turkey. A war can kill without guns somehow. Gaza has a massive outbreak of polio now. Jill Biden praised opening ceremony display. Meanwhile, Last Supper critics have lots to say. Owen draws criticism from attending the games. Simone Biles is a star. He can share the fame. Despite sabotage to the Paris Railway, Summer Olympics are now underway.
All right.
And that's your poem.
That is our...
Cool.
And you can come see me live this Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, where I'll be performing for like 5-6 minutes.
Yeah,
oh, yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
At the famous Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle.
That's right.
Home of Tim Allen.
4th Street in Troy.
Oh, yeah. Home of Tim Allen and John Heffron. There we go.
$5 to get in. Come see this funny lady.
$5. You get the best deal of your life.
Susan can never stay for the whole show, but she likes to meet the guys. So let's bring out Sam Greenfield. We all know Sam from New York and 45 years of comedy.
I thought that at any moment when you interrupted Susan, she gave you a look. I swear to God, I thought she was going to backhand you.
I was in the backhand position. I was right in the backhand position too. It would have been perfect.
I thought she was going to go like this. Just.
All right. Now I got to ask you. Well, let me get Jason here because we're going to put him in the poll too. Here's the poll. Should I have let her read the rest of that with the paper in front of her face, or?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, maybe.
That's nice poem, Susan.
My best side.
Oh yeah, okay. It was the Kilroy version of the poem. So.
Yeah.
Jason, who's that next to Stalin?
Oh,
Kamala Harris.
Okay.
Oh,
it is not.
It is.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It is.
It was Yezov, but as you know, he kind of got left out of the picture.
Well, I understand why you couldn't have Trump in that picture because he can't spell Stalin. So
You sure that's not Groucho Marx with a Stalin cap on?
It doesn't matter. Both of them were dead before Kamala Harris was even born. So
yeah.
Well, we know. Well, you're kidding, really? Oh, hold on. Whoa.
Fake news.
All right, I understand. Okay, I'm just having a little fun. It happens.
Oh, that's fine. Please, anybody gets upset about that would get upset about female impersonators doing the last. Oh, never mind.
I know.
Oh.
It's in the poem. We can talk about it.
Okay, so I have 2 jokes. If you want to hear them now, I'll tell them now.
Go for it.
All right.
Okay, so the first one is there's a guy from the Census, Bureau, and he's interviewing this old African American man, and he says in a backwoods place in Louisiana, deep in the bayou, And he says to him, now your name is Willard Johnson, right? He goes, yes, sir, that's my name. And he goes, and you are 78 years old. Yes, sir, that's right. And he said, and you're married? Yes. And you have 9 children and 15 grandchildren? Yes, sir. And you are Catholic? No, sir, I'm Baptist. Well, no, you're Catholic. No, I'm Baptist. Well, if you're Baptist, then what is that picture of Pope Pius XII doing on your wall? He said, damn, the man who told me that told me it was Harry S. Truman in a Masonic temple uniform. And the second joke is a guy goes to a funeral of his very best friend, and he says to his wife, if you survive me, would you get married again? And she goes, geez, I don't, that's, we just left a funeral. I don't know. Maybe I, a few years go by and I meet someone. Yeah, I could get married again. Well, would you live in this house? Well, it would be my house. So yeah, I would. And would you drive my car? Well, it would be my car then. Yeah, of course. And would you let him use my golf clubs? Well, no, he's left-handed. What? And that's it.
And that's it. Okay, Ollie.
You're nothing like him. He's a real man.
Is that Lily Von Stoop behind?
That's Lily Von Stoop.
You're done. You're verkackt, verfliegen. Viel fight.
I'm tired. Tired gains the game.
I've never met a man like you before. Baby, that's my arm.
I already talked to Sam about this, and I wish I had been out there for it because I would have definitely gone. But for the 50th anniversary of Blazing Saddles this week, they at the Peacock Theater in the downtown.
Yeah, with Mel.
Yeah, they had the showing of Blazing Saddles, and it's a 7,100 seat theater. I don't know if you guys have
say how many.
7,100 seats at the Peacock Theater. Jesus. It's the former Microsoft Theater. They've used it.
They could have 3 Oakland Athletic games.
Ah, very funny. I love it. You mean the Sacramento Athletics? Anyway,
is that where they're moving? I thought they were moving to Vegas.
For one, they're getting out of Oakland, but they're going to move to Sacramento for 1 year while they're getting the stadium ready in Vegas.
I don't feel sorry for the people in Oakland at all. They had that one game where they said, come out and support the team. And, come out 11,000 people. So screw them.
Yeah. Anyway, so they had the film, Mel
Brooks, I think.
Mel Brooks was there at 98, right? Introduces the film, sits through the whole thing, and then does an 80-minute question and answer session after.
Yes.
God bless him.
After a 94-minute film, he does 80 minutes of questions and answers. Isn't that at 98, my hero?
Well, Dick Van Dyke is 98 and he won an Emmy.
I thought did he? For what?
Yes. I don't know what it was. It was something that just won an Emmy.
Wow. That's great.
I'll look that up.
Yeah.
And you know why these guys live that long?
They're comics.
Well, they don't smoke.
Oh,
there.
Yeah.
Neither of them ever smoked.
Good genetics.
Oh, that'll do it. Bob Newhart lived to be 94, right? Wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
94.
And
comics either live to be in their 90s or they die at 40.
Yeah,
with 2 gunshots in the back after leaving.
Days of Our Lives. He won it for Days of Our Lives, Daytime Emmy.
Yeah, Dick Van Dyke won for Days of Our Lives, Daytime Emmy.
Oh, and good for him. He's still working.
Guys, in the old Dick Van Dyke show,
performance in a daytime drama series. That's what he won for.
So are the Days of Our Lives.
In the old Dick Van Dyke show, if you got Siri, who I can't not remember who was his boss, because I know he was a writer.
Carl Reiner.
Carl Reiner was his boss.
Oh, thank you. I've been trying.
He played Brady.
Alan Brady.
Alan Brady.
Yeah.
And if you search the internet, you can find him doing a prequel sort of a Dick Van Dyke is actually a reboot of a series that was done
with Carl Reiner as
with Carl Reiner playing the Dick Van Dyke role. So they
and
recast.
I think Reiner wore a tube as Alan Brady, and every once in a while would take it off.
Yes,
because wasn't he supposed to be sort of a Milton Berle type, if you will, or
I think he was more of a Sid Caesar.
More of a Sid Caesar.
Okay,
Maybe.
all right.
But
because Carl Reiner wrote for Sid Caesar.
In the before it was
yes, he did. Yes, he did. Well, you know who wrote for Sid Caesar?
Mel Brooks,
Reiner, Woody Allen.
Yep.
The
guy that did MASH.
Simon.
The guy who
Neil Simon.
Neil Simon, Danny Simon, his brother.
Yeah, the guy who created MASH. What was his name? Wrote for Sid Caesar.
The film or the TV?
No, the TV show. Your show of shows. Hold on.
Oh, by the way, I was watching, the movie Boys Town with Spencer Tracy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, do I?
And, where would you like to sleep tonight, Junior? And
remember,
and
this is just between the two of us.
And
now.
there's one of the young kids in the movie. Oh, you know who it was? You remember the kid in the movie who played the handicapped kid who they made elected president of the Boys Town? There was a handicapped kid who they elected president of Boys Town.
Okay.
Do you know who he was?
No idea.
Gene Reynolds.
You're kidding.
Who created MASH?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man.
Hey, I just looked up your show of shows writers.
Right.
There's one I wasn't expecting.
Selma Blatty.
Selma Diamond. Yeah.
Selma Diamond was a writer on the show.
Yes. When no one would hire female writers.
I wonder if that's who. Rosemary, the Rosemary character.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I loved about that show, 30 Rock.
Yeah.
They have Tim Conway.
Yeah.
Playing a guy who's supposed to be a writer for one of those shows, and he comes back to visit because it's in the exact same offices where his show was. Mm-hmm. So he's walking around, and Liz Lemon, the Tina Fey character, is showing him around. And now this is where the writers get together. Oh, this is where the writers are? Yeah, well, this is where our writers were. We call this the Jew room.
Oh God. Yeah.
The Jew room.
The Jew room. No one has a sense of humor anymore.
And yet so accurate.
Well,
you know what show showed the writers' room really well was that Mrs. Maisel show.
Yeah.
Fabulous Mrs. Maisel or the Marvelous
Mrs.
Maisel.
Maisel, yeah.
That was like when she made it as a writer on the Tonight Show, whatever their Tonight Show was on that fictitious show. That was a great depiction of the writers' room.
An uncanny sense of accuracy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So this is just a complaint from me about no one here, but I'm pissed about this.
All right.
Okay.
Sometimes I get up early. I mean, really early, like 4 or 3:45.
In the afternoon.
And I always say it's okay because I'll go back to sleep around 9 and I'll sleep till 10:30 and I'll catch up. Right.
Right.
I was in such a deep sleep today, such a deep phone rings. And it's a very good friend of mine. And he ordered a Kamala Harris t-shirt for me. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck could he possibly want? Jesus. So I go, yeah, what's up? And he goes, what size are you?
Well, that's a bit personal,
I go,
isn't it?
Unless I've become gay, that's none of your business. I said, I take a large because those things shrink. And your apartment number is E201. I said, Ed, we've known each other 30 years. You slept here. I've stolen your shoes.
Yeah. Oh boy.
God. Oh, I saw this thing with Dangerfield, and he goes, you got to be careful when you're drinking. One night I drank so much I woke up the next day. there's this kid with a foreign accent playing with my feet. Oh,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that except the waking up part. Everything, a foreign kid rubbing your feet is fine as long as you don't wake up to that.
That's right. A kid with a foreign accent playing with my feet.
And as long as you got a few bucks to get him to go on his way.
I got in the cab and said, take me to where the action is. He took me to my house.
That's right. I tell you, it's a rough life.
Well, if they're not speaking English, usually a $10 bill is enough to take care of the tab for that too. So,
including rent.
Well, I mean, we call it rent. It's a lot of things, but let's not get into the labels right now.
Who is that behind you?
Alex Karras.
That's Alex Karras.
Oh, Mongo.
Mongo just pawning life,
Mongo just pawn. Game of life.
Game of life.
What an improbable actor. Alex Karras ends up having a career. And we're never
a nice career.
Yeah, not a great actor, but I mean, a real solid career. When, if you've seen him play football, it's like you're not thinking, wow, Oscar material.
I tell you what, if he hadn't gotten those sitcoms he got, Bob Uecker never would have gotten Mr. Belvedere.
How long was he on?
Right.
What did he have his own show? I know he was like, was he a side character?
Did he have what?
He was. I know he had a sitcom for a while, but was it like his show or was he a character on it?
Bob Uecker or Alex?
No, Alex. It was with that little black kid.
Emmanuel Lewis. Emmanuel Lewis.
Yeah, Emmanuel Lewis.
Adopted son.
I felt so bad for that kid. He was like 15, 16 years old, and they're carrying him around like he's 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but
then they let him hang out with Michael Jackson. So
well. Did you guys ever?
Oh, so what's the downside of that? You're so judgmental.
Why don't we ask Emmanuel?
Listen, how many kids his age get to see Michael Jackson's B-side? Know what I'm saying, ladies?
Yeah, I know.
Ladies,
bubbles. All right.
There we go. We can go something a little more
Let's have some Jesus juice. That's what he called wine.
Yeah.
That's what Michael Jackson called wine, Jesus juice.
Wow. That's
what?
creepy.
I'd prefer to just enjoy his music, actually. So.
Well, that's the thing that a lot of the Motown legendary people do. They talk about him, his great talent and all that, and they separate those two things.
Well, you have to.
Well, Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin fame toured for 2 or 3 years with his 14 through 16-year-old groupie. I don't believe they were necessarily just going back to separate beds.
Oh, what's your
point?
Know
what I mean?
Different time.
Exactly. David Bowie was renowned for stooping 13-year-olds.
Hey, leave Chaplin out of this, will you? Just leave Chaplin out of this, will
you? They sang songs about 13, 14, 15.
Remember that one song, She's Only 13, or what only 14?
Only 16.
Whatever.
Only 16.
Do you remember in the South?
Yeah, way too old.
Their age of consent was 14. Remember that?
Yeah, well, in the South and in the neighborhoods I grew up in, same thing. I mean, but
no. What Andy's talking about was their own age of consent. In your neighborhood, you had to have the parent write it off. Which they would do in your neighborhood, but
you gave the parent a fifth of medium-priced whiskey. Is actually
I prefer the age of content.
Yeah. That's where you and Barbara are, right?
You're so close in so many ways. Barbara, it's okay that I'm sleeping in this room, but what's with the padlock?
Oh my God! Yeah.
You know who slept in separate rooms? You remember the Spencer for Hire author Robert Parker?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He and his wife slept in separate rooms.
Oh, it makes sense at a certain level. I mean, the fun part's kind of long gone, and now you just kind of want to, chill out, relax a little bit, get some good sleep.
I had to because I read the petition. So. Well, we just re-upped on Showtime. They're showing some great goddamn movies, and one of them is that lovely woman behind you.
Hey, Mom, no more wire hangers.
My favorite line from that is not "No more wire hangers." It's Don't fuck with me, fellas. Now, who wants lunch?
Yeah. You know, the thing is, even Faye Dunaway admitted that movie destroyed what had been think about the role she plays. What's her best role? Maybe a Network?
Yeah.
Chinatown?
Chinatown.
Champ's mom.
Bonnie and Clyde?
Yeah.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Well, she won an Oscar for Network.
Yeah, I mean, well, in Network, she's just such a femme fatale. I mean, but
everybody in that show was fantastic.
It's perfectly casted. It's one of the few examples of a perfect movie, you know. And then she does Mommy Dearest, and they were probably dangling big bucks in front of her, and she's like, "Screw it! I need to make some money. I get to, I get a nice wardrobe I get to keep."
She probably thought it was a good film.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Mommy Dearest?
Yeah, Mommy Dearest.
Well, you know.
It was based on a book that was very popular.
She has no career now because of what happened to her on Broadway.
Oh yeah.
What happened? She getting somebody's way, or
hold on, I gotta hear this.
She smacked the stagehand in the face.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
She refused to go on, and it was her cue to go on, and she wouldn't go on.
Oh no.
Until somebody apologized to her, and the guy said, I will pick you up bodily and throw you out on the goddamn stage if you don't move. So she won, and they fired her.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
We need some Google attention to this story.
I liked her as Champ's mom.
Champ's mom.
Champ, the mom.
Oh, with John Voight and the other kid. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Which one?
Yeah.
Champ, the remake of the Champ with John Voight.
That movie made me cry.
Schroeder.
And
Who directed
when he was dead and Ricky Schroeder kissed him on the cheek? I cried.
Who directed
Who directed that?
We're going to find out here in just a second.
Thank you.
Ingmar Bergman.
Franco Zeffirelli. Franco Zeffirelli.
Okay.
Franco Zeffirelli.
That's who.
Wolfgang Puck.
No. Franco Zeffirelli. He
didn't direct that, did he?
The Champ, the 1979 drama sports film was directed by Franco Zeffirelli. It was a remake of the 1931.
Son of a bitch.
That was directed by King Vidor. Directed the original, but it was Franco Zeffirelli
with Wallace Beery and Jackie Cooper.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God. That's back when Jackie Cooper was a kid and his parents were ripped. Was it Jackie?
No, that
Cooper
was Jackie Coogan.
So close.
That was Jackie Coogan.
Who cares? Fucking mix. They're all the goddamn same. Their parents drank it all up anyways. It's what
mix.
they do.
He called them.
Way to go, Archie.
Thank you, Archie. Yeah.
I don't mean Andrews.
Wow, that film was in '79. Wow.
Yeah.
How do you know as a man if your life is really not where it should be?
When you work all night at a track somewhere out in the Midwest, Michigan.
If you prefer the brunette to the blonde in the Archie comics.
What does that make you if you prefer the brunette?
Your life is pretty much at a standstill. And if you think Reggie is a nicer guy than Archie.
Oh my God.
Remember Rich Jennings' line about the cartoon characters? I can't remember what somebody will remember it if I bring it up. But he said something about how hot Josie and the Pussycats were. Do you remember what the joke was exactly? Do you remember what the joke was exactly?
I don't. And I worked with him and I don't.
Well, every time you worked with Rich Jenny, he had a whole new set. So, you might not have worked with him when he was
not only a prodigious writer, but everything was a gem.
Well, everything was a gem. Did you ever, when you worked with him, did you ever hang out with him while he was writing?
Yes.
Wasn't it an amazing sight to see?
He said something to me that made me laugh so hard. He thought I was having a heart attack.
Well, that's funny.
He was writing, and I knew to leave him alone because he was writing, And he says, Sam, how do you spell sanguine? And I said, Sanguine. He goes, okay, now don't talk to me anymore. And I just collapsed. And he said, and I said to him later, I said, did you really need to know how to spell? He said, yeah, I didn't know. And I knew you would. And you were talking about how he was a ladies' man. He met a girl,
Yeah.
Italian, ironically. Our first day, I think it was Savannah, Georgia, someplace in Georgia. It was me, him, and an African American comic, Steve Smith.
I remember Steve.
Dead.
Well, when?
AIDS.
Oh, no kidding. I worked with him down in Atlanta at the Punchline.
Yep.
It was Steve, me, and the tall guy that played Ray Romano's brother. Can't think of his name now. Wait, I'm so horrible.
Garrett.
Brad
Garrett.
Yeah,
Brad Garrett.
The guy who used to do the gay Herman Munster routine.
Yeah.
It was the first game, and I remember that. And God, that was a funny bit.
My favorite line, the line I always remember from Brad Garrett was, "If I had your size, I could have been somebody." You remember that line?
When Dennis Miller appeared on, was it Dennis Miller? Yeah, he was friends with Dennis Miller. When Dennis Miller appeared on some famous show, I don't think it was Letterman, but some show like that. Dennis was living in New York. Brad paid for his and his wife's airfare.
Wow.
And put him up for their hotel.
Wow.
And I always think about that when I think of the show Undercover Boss.
Yeah.
And the boss reveals himself, and they find like 2 or 3 people who are outstanding employees, and they give their kids a scholarship, or they send the family on a trip to Disneyland. One guy, the guy who owns Modell's Sporting Goods, bought a woman a house. Okay. And they really do nice things. And I always think about that because I worked at a restaurant that had, 5 different locations, Ben's Kosher Deli. And I always thought that Ronnie, the owner, would take me aside and say, "Sam, I was the undercover boss, and you did such an outstanding job. This week only, I'm giving you a free turkey burger. I swear to God." Okay, eat them up, Tiger. And the thing that's funny, for some reason, I never understood. You could have anything on the menu except steak, obviously, but you could have anything on the menu except turkey burgers. I never understood it. I never got that. I mean, they would let you have hamburger, sirloin ground hamburger. They wouldn't let you have turkey burgers.
Brad Garrett didn't stay at the condo. You remember the Punchline condo down in Atlanta, right?
Yes, I do.
Well, he didn't stay at the condo because he had already won Star Search and was already, acting in movies and TV shows and stuff. So he was in a hotel, and it wasn't in the neighborhood because it had to be, 5-star and all that stuff. And he had a limo. I'm sure it was supplied by, Ron D'Annunzio. But anyway, but I thought this was great. He offered to pick me and Steve up at the condo. I said, "Well, we can just walk from the condo." It was walking distance.
It's a block and a half.
Exactly. He goes, "You don't want to show up in a limo?"
I told you the story about Dennis Miller and Chris DiPetta, right?
Yeah, you did. I don't like that story. You already told it. You already told him the show too. So it's.
Well, it's. I've never had a bad second with Dennis, but there are people who worked with him, and I never understood it because it was always nice to me. One of the best times I ever had doing stand-up was he and I were working in Knoxville, Tennessee, with Ron Ramey, and with the Panic Brothers, and we had the afternoon off, and I had driven there, and Dennis Miller and I drove around Knoxville, just driving around for 3 hours, and it was really ironic because the one thing he said to me was, "Oh, this is so funny if you think about it, what he was doing now. Don't swear on stage. It really limits you." And I said, "Well, doesn't it depend on how you, if every other word out of your mouth is that, then I understand, but I don't think there's anything wrong with occasion." He said, "Just don't." And that's something that, if you ever saw that interview with Seinfeld, and they were talking about Louis C.K., and how Louis C.K. came up with like a new act, a 45-minute act every week.
That's amazing.
And Seinfeld said, well, you know why? Because I don't curse in my act. It's much harder. It's much harder to do 45 minutes of really clean material. And he's right.
Well, there's also a difference between doing clean material and not cursing, because there's ways that
that's true.
Do some very risque blue material and not use a 4-letter word, but it certainly would not be rated G for kids.
Well, and also with Louis, you know, he had a schedule he had to keep. It was like write a joke, jerk off in front of a 22-year-old. Write a joke, jerk off in front of a 22-year-old.
You can only do that 2 or 3 times a day, though. You gotta really pace yourself. I mean, when I was younger.
Oh, he was tireless.
Oh,
I'm kind of amazed. I don't think I still think he's not getting work because of that.
Well, but I don't know. He goes out and tours when he wants now, and he fills up clubs. But
does he?
Maybe that's a road he's been down before.
Does he fill up clubs now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
Louis C.K.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that.
Oh, he does. Trust me, he's out there.
Now, when you say, you mean clubs, right? But not concerts.
No. I mean places like.
And I think that's the difference. A guy at his level should be selling out concerts.
Well, like I've only seen Ron White live once. He was at Mark
You're
Ridley's.
very lucky.
Oh, I don't know. I appreciate the sort of laconic style. You know, I mean,
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Did you like Ron White?
I did like Ron White, and I mean, it was a warm up set that he was doing just after COVID was kind of getting over, and it was a chance to see a professional comedian up close at Mark Ridley's, and 2 months later he's playing the Royal Oak. You know what I'm saying? He's back to theaters, right? So for me, it was an opportunity, just like when I got to see Mark brought in Norm Stoltz once, which again
brought in who?
Norm Stoltz. He was a local guy. I don't know if you've seen him or not.
Norm Sobel?
No,
Stoltz.
Stoltz.
STOLZ. Stoltz. Norm Stoltz.
And he's a very stream of consciousness guy. He's like this energetic ping pong ball. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's ever done the same set twice. Maybe he has, but he's always bouncing off the place. And
yeah, he's very good. He does the same set, but he makes it look like it's
different.
That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make it look like it's the first time you said it.
But getting a chance to see a pro that close is really kind of a big deal to me, because I can kind of get a better idea. I mean, at this point in time, I keep demanding that someone come over and smother me. But if they do, they use a pillow with a high thread count, because I don't want to go out with some.
He wants to go out. He wants to go out with Egyptian in it.
Yeah, Egyptian. Thank you, Mark. You get it. The $50 will be on your way.
Can't believe he's dead. But look at that thread count.
Wow. He went out in style. There we go.
All right, Sam and I this week were talking about The Aristocrats, the movie.
Oh, yes.
And now it's been 19 years since it was released. Mm-hmm. But I just picked up the cast because we're talking about how many. I watched it again last week.
How many are dead? Yeah.
How many are dead? Listen to this. Well, it was a cast of hundreds. George Carlin, gone. Bob Saget, gone. Robin Williams, Gilbert Gottfried, Don Rickles, Andy Dick, just career gone. All right.
What a monster of a human being he is.
Yeah. Richard Lewis, Phyllis Diller, Eddie Izzard, the character, not the actual actor. Let's see who else we got here.
Well, Eddie's alive, right? Eddie is.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He is. But he's no longer Eddie. So, but anyway.
What is he?
He's trans.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, yeah. He's now a she.
Got it.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Carry me back to old vagina.
Tom Smothers, Shelley Berman.
Shelley Berman?
Shelley Berman's gone. Yeah.
I knew that, but wow.
Yeah, he was in.
Brilliant comedian.
Martin Mull, Carrie Fisher.
Yep.
Fred Willard.
I couldn't see Martin Mull doing The Aristocrats.
Oh yeah, he did.
What's that?
Martin Mull was in The Aristocrats. Rich Jenny, Taylor Negron.
God, Taylor.
I mean, they were just Rip Taylor.
Yeah.
Hugh Hefner. Those were the people that I saw on that. Those were just the ones that I
What did Taylor
recognized.
Negron die of? I know that he's been gone for a while now. I mean, I don't think it was AIDS, so he didn't catch, you know, the crotch rocket to hell.
Well, you know, his
died the same
cousin,
day.
one of the Three Dog Night.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Chuck
he was
Negron.
Chuck Negron was the lead singer. Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yep. He died of.
Because I remember he was another HBO special guy, you know, mid to late 80s.
He was in Punchline with Tom Hanks and Sally Field.
Yes.
Yeah. That was
good comedian.
And he was in River's Edge.
He was
with Daniel Roebuck.
Yeah,
and
Keanu
Reeves.
Really?
He wouldn't sell Daniel Roebuck beer.
Now, wasn't he the one that was he in Beverly Hills Cop?
No, I know who you're thinking of, and I can't think of his name.
Anyway, he died of liver cancer. He died on the same day my dad died.
Well, that means if it, you know, liver, you know what liver cancer means?
Drinking or AIDS?
It's AIDS.
Yeah, I mean, it both can
or bad mushroom.
Or bad mushrooms. Wouldn't eat the mushrooms.
Don't touch. One of my favorite lines from what was that movie? The Battle of the Roses, The War of the Roses.
Yes.
I would avoid the fish. You know, when Michael Douglas, I'll be pissing on the fish. God, that was a dark movie. Man alive. Funny, but I mean, it's like, oh my God, that movie it was sort of like.
DeVito directed that, right?
Did he?
Danny DeVito directed that.
Wow, because that again,
I'm pretty sure of that.
If my parents had been rich, that would have been their divorce. But sadly, they were just poor enough to stay together and make each other miserable every minute of their waking lives, because that's just what they did. They're married people. Oh, what a fine example to set. I still appreciate my mother demanding that her ashes be spread on my dad's truck so she can haunt it. So again,
that's
good taste. Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, for years, her biggest disappointment was that she wasn't going to outlive my father, although she was trying. Oh boy, you know, miss me, hun, with every bullet so far. I mean, you know, getting shot at.
Joe Franklin too was also dead. Joe Franklin was in the Aristocrats.
Yeah.
David Brenner, he's gone.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
And you know, he had a TV series based on the movie Shampoo. They got 5 episodes filmed, and then the series, the network and the production company shut it down because they're like, no, there's a gay character on this show. We can't do this. And,
Mark?
Yeah.
Bronson Pinchot.
Yes. Yeah.
They played similar. They would often do similar accents in their characters that they played in movies.
He started playing much more straight roles. I saw him on Law and Order. And he played a dentist who was accused of giving this girl some kind of shot that just completely destroyed her face.
Oh wow!
Ooh.
It was a musical.
For all of our young comedy friends here, this is the funny laugh hour. Yeah, where we
episode like that in Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Taylor was the one who told me. I'm not saying he completely influenced, but he was the one that says when I started doing material about the kids, he said, "No one else is doing that out here. You should keep doing. You know, that sets you apart."
There you go. I remember I was doing material about
everybody in their late 20s at the Improv at that time was not doing family stuff. He says, "Yeah, you should keep doing that." Pretty much overtook my act.
Well, hey guys,
do the fan joke.
Yeah.
Michael, stay away from the fan.
Yeah,
People would request that.
Yeah.
I'm about to show you how decrepit my mind is. I actually did this show at the Improv on Melrose. It was a TV series with Bud Friedman as the host. Evening at the Improv.
Yeah.
Well, did it?
Yeah, it was on.
You know, a lot of comics called it Evening at the Improv, starring a comic sweater.
It's pretty close.
If you didn't have a sweater, you couldn't do the show. A nice sweater, but you had to do, a sweater.
I had a jacket from Chess King, which was close to having a sweater.
Who hosted when you were on it, Sam?
David Brenner.
Awesome.
Wow.
I was supposed to be on with Anthony Perkins, but they switched with Jack Hay from
Jackie Harry.
She was very nice.
She was very nice.
She's very nice, very fun.
I interviewed her.
And beautiful.
But terribly miscast to pick up Red Fox's role after Red Fox checked out.
Yeah.
In his last series.
You know who I interviewed, and I thought she would be just a holy terror, and she could not have been nicer? Queen Latifah.
I thought you were going to say Queen Elizabeth for a second.
I like Queen Latifah. I think
she was so nice.
Great sense of humor.
She said, I have one favor. She said, this is a 20-minute interview, right? I said, yeah. She said, can we stop it at 20 minutes? Is that okay? Because I've really got. I said, absolutely. I'll stop it at 19. No, 20 is fine. But can we do that? And we stopped it at 20 on the dot. And she went, you're my hero. And I said, well, she said, you know how many guys would just go, well, I don't give a shit. It's my radio show. And I said, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Did she get nominated for Chicago?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
And deserved it.
What's worse? You had remember the George Harrison, Dick Cavett interview where Harrison sits there and like gives monosyllabic answers for 10 minutes. Dick can't get him to say a thing. What's worse? Someone who won't talk or doesn't seem like they want to be there, or someone who's just being obnoxious and an asshole to you? I mean, I'm sure both have their own irritations.
Well, this Larry King interviewed somebody. I'm trying to remember who it was. It was an actor, and he asked him a question like, when you get into a part, what helps you elicit that character's emotions? I just read the script.
Okay.
Okay.
For
okay,
years,
so I'm going to call you penis because you're acting like a stiff.
For years, the guy that I had the most, I wouldn't say trouble with, but the guy who was the unnicest to me was always Joe Napodi. Well, years later, he wanted me to do a show with him, and I mentioned that to him, and he said, "Oh, was I?" And he apologized. He goes, I was young. I was, full of piss and vinegar. And
that's why you're a dick, because you're young.
Yeah, well, no, but since then we're great friends. He couldn't be nicer. He's invited my, wife to shows, and my wife.
That's like when I
he was gonna do a fundraiser for
Make-A-Wish.
For Make-A-Wish, which is our daughter's charity.
Story.
Well, that's nice.
And
yeah.
And our people here in Michigan wouldn't go for it. He had a nice show set up. Who did he have for that show? He had a nice show set up.
We have a daughter who is a wish child, and so we thought, we had gone to one of Joe's shows. He put, I forget who the fundraiser. He puts a very, very professional Vegas type quality show together, but at local venues for fundraisers. And so we said, hey, we could do this for Make-A-Wish and raise them, big bucks. And so we pitched it to Make-A-Wish people, and they were very interested until it gets to the person who is the head person, and she shot it down.
I think there was a kickback situation.
There was some weirdness about it. So we said, well, we'll talk to somebody else. And, but Joe had arranged it all. He actually even got people so that he got contributors so that Make-A-Wish wouldn't even have to foot anything. They would just have to say yes. That was it. And we talked to somebody else, and they're like, oh yeah, we should do this. And, so we took a second shot at it, tried to bypass this woman, and it was ready to go. He'd gotten his yes. So he booked the comedians and everybody. And then this other woman in development or whatever with Make-A-Wish found out and shut it down. It was the weirdest thing.
What a turd.
She wasn't even the person. It's like all they had to do was accept the money. Like it
Yeah.
was going to be a clean show. We could even, if they wanted to have any Make-A-Wish children, we could give permission for our daughter to accept the check or something.
He had Brian Kiley, Bruce Baum, Wendy Liebman. He had a good show.
So then he's got the show arranged, but Make-A-Wish won't say yes. So one of the food pantries stepped up and said, "Oh, we'll take the money." So he put on the show, but I felt horrible that he'd gone to all this work, got sponsors for it and everything, and then Make-A-Wish wouldn't accept the money. And we're talking Make-A-Wish Michigan, because there's different branches around the country. It was just the one here that was pissy about it. And I think, we kind of had some nasty words for her. Like, I think she just thought we were trying to step on toes or something, but then she found out we're an actual Make-A-Wish family, and then
got the apology.
We got a not from her, but we did kind of get an apology about it. But she thought we were just people in the community trying to raise money for Make-A-Wish or something. I don't know. Or that's the story she spun anyway. But I think Mark's theory that there were kickbacks.
I think that because they do a comedy show and they didn't want a better show to come along and sort of outshine theirs is what it was, because I think they were getting kickbacks somewhere along the way.
I don't want to tell you that this is a story that when I tell people that, they always go, no. I did a comedy night at Gilda's Club.
Oh,
which one in New York?
The one in the Village.
Okay.
And somebody said, aren't those people dying? And I go, well, a couple of the comics did too, but no one got on their case. And Silver Friedman, to her everlasting credit, used to arrange shows for AIDS patients.
Oh, that's great.
It's funny. She had, not from everybody, because a lot of people loved her, and I was one of them, but she had a reputation for being like real tough, and she wasn't. She was so nice.
I think Mitzi had that too, and I think people just they treat women differently. Well,
yeah. Try being a woman in that business.
I know. Sharon Rurick is gone. I don't know if you knew that or not. Did you know Sharon Rurick?
She managed me, and I fired her.
Okay, she's gone.
All right.
No, not your fault.
Yeah.
She was terrible.
Oh,
I didn't know she managed people. She worked for her quite a bit.
She worked with this group of people who managed acts in the Catskills.
Oh, okay.
Joe Rapp.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember Joe Rapp.
And so she worked for him, and so she said, and she was living in Ohio, so she said, "Listen, I'm going to be in New York. I'm staying at the Mark Hotel, very nice hotel. Why don't we meet?" And we'll map out a strategy. So I thought that was a great idea, right? So I go to the Mark Hotel, and she's there with 5 friends from Ohio, and they're just there to drink.
Oh.
And I was more disappointed than mad.
Yeah.
And so she goes, "Listen, do you have a minute?" And I'm like, okay. And I thought, okay, now she wants to. And she goes, "Do you have any weed?" And I said, "I try not to get high when I'm trying to map out a strategy." And so then there was this show that was on after, this is way before Letterman, but or before he went to CBS.
Right.
And it was like a talk show kind of thing, like it was like a Bill Maher kind of show. And you're going to love this. The main topic was prison rape.
Yes. I mean, yeah.
Oh, somebody's ears perked up.
Yeah.
And what was that guy? He has MS, and he's black, and he had a talk show.
Oh,
Montel Williams.
Montel.
Yes,
Williams.
Montel Williams. Well, his brother Ignorant Williams.
I believe it was pronounced ignorant.
Ignorant. And
Ignorant.
and he says, he says, hey Sam, what are you going to do if you're in a jail cell and Big Bubba wants you? I said, are you making jokes about rape? And he goes, well, I said, no, answer me. Are you making jokes about rape? And he goes, yeah. I go, why? And it got real quiet. Everybody got really quiet. And the hostess, who was this English woman, who was very put in, so untalented, and so completely bereft of anything approaching talent. And she said, well, why don't we move on? I said, I don't want to. I want to know why he thinks telling a joke about rape is funny. And I said, and please don't you dare look at me and say, lighten up. I said, I'm not the one who brought it up, but I want to know why he thinks that's funny. And he said, I guess it's not. I said, really? Good for you. And then they went to commercial, and the producer and the executive producer, they come running over to me. And I said, oh man, I'm going to get my ass kicked. I really, and they go, don't you ever. I said, you're not threatening me, are you? Not for the $310 you're paying me. You're not threatening me. No, if you want to threaten someone, why don't you threaten Bingo Long and his Traveling All-Stars? Don't threaten me. And so he said, well, you're never coming back on this show. I said, in the cycle that would have to take place for me to come back on this show won't be on the air. And it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I saw episodes of Tough Crowd, it looked to me like there are times, people were ready to go right there. It didn't matter about the money. These guys were not happy with each other.
Well, one of the problems is that, what's his name?
Colin
Quinn was a terrible host. And I like Colin, but it's not his thing. And you got a list of things. Colin wants this done, and Colin will be unhappy if you. Are you nuts? Are you serious? Yeah, and if you'll love this one. If Colin is drinking water, don't drink water at the same time as Colin.
Oh my God!
I said, what is synchronized water drinking a thing? Yeah, it was ridiculous. Although the money, I was there with Freddie May,
right,
and Nick DiPaolo.
Nick, yeah.
And I can't remember the other person. I can't, but, and it was fun. And I remember Nick, I said something about Nick. I said, nice outfit, Nick. Is that the one you're going to be buried in, or is someone else beat you to it? And he goes, leave me alone. I know what I look like. I look like a very unattractive Italian lesbian. But now, that he's in Georgia doing a show. He's gotten mean. The show is mean.
Oh yeah, no, I catch it every now and then, and yeah, it's there's that bitterness, there's that sort of anger to it, and it's useful as a motivational force, but when it comes too close to the surface, it can be counterproductive to say the least.
No one asked him to move to Georgia. I mean, his wife's from Georgia, I think, but right. I guess he moved. There's no state tax, which is probably a big draw for some people.
You know who lives here? You know who lives in Detroit now?
Who lives in Detroit?
Mike Epps. You know Mike?
Okay.
Yeah, I know Mike Epps. Nice man.
Yeah, his wife works for O Magazine, Oprah Winfrey's magazine.
Oh.
They still have that still publishes?
Oh yeah,
wow.
it's
yes.
huge.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
not as big as Oprah, but it's huge.
He opened up a club here down on Broadway in downtown Detroit.
Really?
All right, kids, it's 8:59. Grab yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm slowly bringing up the music here. Oh no, my wife grabbed me. Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
It's much better than grabbing
Jason and
myself.
I have to watch Rachel Maddow.
Okay. I'm gonna finish watching
because she has better sweaters.
We're watching a whip.
I'm gonna finish watching the USA team beat the Jets.
Who are they playing?
That's the end of our show for tonight, folks. We're here every Monday night at 8 o'clock, except on occasions like holiday, and we do it on Tuesday. But pretty consistently for 4.5 years now on Monday night, 8 o'clock. Join us. Contact me about getting involved with the show if you want to. I realize the 4 old white comics, but that's just the way it turned out. We we'll take anybody on the show. And
evidently, as I look around.
Yeah, apparently. Anyway, it's time to go. Everybody go do your things. We'll see everybody next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night.